Hey guys, it's Brad in the Buff. I got my buff in my head and I'm ready to go. Today I want to talk to you about the difference between buying the prepackaged dehydrated food from specialty and what you can get from the store. So I'm going to go through the details of why I typically go this route. So let's get into it. So if you've watched my videos before on how to cook or like the meal planning that I do, typically I'm going to have a couple items I get from the store. Almost always I want to get these instant potatoes. They're delicious. There's a lot of variety, so you can have something different for each trip, something different for each night. And I'm typically going to get something from Nour's Rice. That's usually the dehydrated food that I'm going to bring, maybe some extra ramen and whatnot. And I've had people ask me, why do I go that route instead of buying, say, this is Backpacker's Pantry, this is my favorite from the Meal Ready, the MRE style food that you can get. Why don't I go this route more often, and how come I don't feature that in my videos? And the reason's actually pretty simple. It's really twofold. First of all, these are typically going to be anywhere from $7 to say $12. That's your normal range for any one of these meals. They're usually a two-person meal, so it's not like that's crazy expensive. It's not really my number one reason, whereas I'm only going to have maybe $1 into the potatoes and maybe $1 into the rice. So instead of spending $9 per meal, I'm spending $2 for two people per meal. So one is the expense. That's something you always have to take into account. The other is really just for simplicity's sake. To get these, you typically have to order them. I don't live around, say, an REI. I don't like to have to go to a specific store. This one I can just go down to my local store. You can find these anywhere. So it doesn't really require me to think about what I'm going to order beforehand and which specific meals I want. I just zoom my way down to my closest store. I grab whatever looks convenient for me. I can be in and out in 15 to 20 minutes, and I can do it from anywhere. I can do it whether I'm traveling. I did this in Puerto Rico. If we're up in Canada, I can just grab in a store. I know what I'm looking for, and I know I can find it because this stuff is everywhere, or something like it. These kind of items you can only find in specific places, so it just requires more planning. You have to order them typically online. That's the cheapest way to go. I found really good value for these on Sierra Trading Post. The advantage of these, they're more nutritionally balanced. So there's typically going to be a higher yield of protein. I have that kind of planned into my regular meal list. I've kind of done that work myself to make sure I have nutritional balance. But these, you just grab them. These are delicious. They're definitely better tasting. They have all kinds of different flavors of things. So you can find something you definitely love in the MRE style. They have desserts, they have breakfast, they have granola, crunch that you could use for a breakfast or a snack. These prepackaged it's definitely a better product. It's just, for me, I value the simplicity and the ease of knowing where I'm going to pick up my next meal from. And then, like I said, there's also a value proposition for two people for a weekend. Even if I go nuts and get maybe a steak for night one or some really good cheese, I might have $20 per person. Whereas for these, it's going to be at least double that. So really, that's my short answer. Is that in general, it's just easier for me to do. It's a little bit cheaper, and I just like doing it that way better. Nothing at all wrong doing these, and I think it's a good idea to experiment across different ones. I've had a lot of these, so I know what they taste like. Also, the cleanup for these tends to be a lot more. They're harder to cook. The simplicity of cooking them is not as easy. So usually it requires more dishes. You have to pour something into something else and mix this over here and let it sit for a little bit. So there is that aspect to it. These are a little bit harder to make, but like I said, the offside of that is they're much, much tastier. That's just not something I particularly value in most of my hiking trips. And if I do, then I'll bring out something like a steak if I don't have too many miles to go in day one. So that's my basic reasoning. I just wanted to get that out there for the people that had that question in mind. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, if you like the video you just saw, please subscribe, click the bell so you can get alerted for any new videos that I may do, and check the links below for any information I described in the video. I'll try to put as much there as possible. Thanks for watching.